Hey again, everyone. This is Bob from Hot Rock Central, and today I'm going to take you through my very first acquisition of lithium batteries. And what I'm doing right now is I'm in the final top-off phase. Initially, I individually charged these batteries with two separate chargers, and now I got them all strung together in parallel for the final top-off and balance. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through my learning curve so that for those of you who are planning to get lithium batteries in the future, uh, you'll have a heads up of what you're going to run into when you get there. And the first thing is when I got these, the sides were perfectly flat. You put them against each other, there wasn't a gap. And they were just slapped against each other. Now that they're fully charged, there's about a 5/16 gap between each battery now. So they bulge out a little bit when they charge. They move. So that that presents a little bit of a problem because if you saw the video I did earlier of the compression box that I built for these batteries, I built it with them flat against each other. Well, now that they got a bulge in them, I certainly don't want to compress them flat against each other like they were, because there's no telling how much pressure is inside those cases there, and I'm kind of afraid that there might be enough that if you try to do that, squeeze them flat against each other like they were, you probably blow the damn pressure relief valve here. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to have them snug against each other, but I'm not going to squeeze them so tight that that could happen. And really, the whole idea behind the compression box in the first place is to keep the batteries from moving around. Because as you see, they'll do that. You know, they'll bulge like that. And if you've got bus bars and stuff like that connected across them, there's a good chance they could work loose. The bolts could get stripped, or even ripped out of the post. So there's a lot of potential problems there with the batteries moving around. And really, the whole idea behind the compression case too is also the scuttlebutt is that it drastically increases the lifespan of the batteries. I haven't been able to get a definitive explanation of why that is, but that's the scuttlebutt. Everybody says in a compression box the batteries will last another, I don't know, 5,000 cycles more or something like that. But anyways, if you don't do a compression box, definitely you don't want to use bus bars because of the movement, especially if you have them against each other. You want to use flexible cable between the batteries so that when they do move, the cable will flex with it. Now, the other thing is I was really in a hurry to get some lithium batteries. I mean, I was, I was hot for it, getting some lithium. So shipping with the way shipping is right now, if you can get a set of lithium batteries from China by boat in 6 months, you'd be damn lucky, if at all. And I don't have that kind of patience. So I looked around for a place that was selling U.S. stock, and I found a couple of them, and I ordered from this one company. And they were telling me, oh, yeah, we'll send you grade A batteries, and the price was $125 each, and that included the shipping. So I get them in, and first thing I see is no QR code. So I have no idea what grade condition these things are in. The only thing I can say is because they also sent me batteries that were not drilled or tapped. So there was no way for me to even connect anything up to these batteries. So that kind of told me maybe these batteries never been used before, and they've probably been sitting on a shelf for a bunch of years or something like that. So I'm hoping that's the case, and these batteries are good, and they'll hold up to a load test once I get them put together. Now, because of that experience, and plus all the posts and everything I've seen on the solar forums about these Chinese companies and their batteries, and everybody's getting screwed, getting maybe B, C grade batteries when they're ordering and stuff like that. These Chinese are probably the most despicable scumbag culture on the planet. So I'll tell you what, if you're going to order from these assholes, you better get your ducks in a row first. first of all, I would have them send you a picture of the battery that they're going to send you. I mean, if you order a grade A battery, you want to see a QR code, and you want to see the actual physical view of the battery, because I've seen one guy that was showing a picture of these type of batteries here, but when in the description they described the battery, it was something completely different, and it was like, you know, a no-name battery like you never heard of before. So you got to watch these assholes, man. They'll try every trick they can to screw you over. The other thing is after this experience of having to get these things drilled and tapped, and that's another thing I'll tell you about. If you get batteries like that aren't drilled and tapped, I would not try to do that yourself unless you've got some really professional equipment. You know, like drill presses with the stops on it, and you know, good sharp taps. Because first of all, there's a limited depth you can go into drilling into these things, which turns out to be about 6 millimeters. Now let me show you how much that is in length. There's a bolt right there, and that is about all the threads you're going to get out of 6 millimeters. So there is not much to grab onto when you get that hole drilled. And if you go past 6 millimeters, I'm going to tell you right now, because the machinist, he hit it right at 6 millimeters perfectly. And a lot of these holes here actually went into the battery. I guess they got pouches or something in them, because, you know, I could stick a screwdriver in some of the holes there, and it would be, you know, soft and mushy. So there's probably a pouch in there that he just hit the top of when he drilled down into it. So you got to be really careful if you run into a situation like that where you got to drill and tap these batteries. You cannot go too, if you go too far, you got to go in the battery, and you lost the battery. You ain't getting it back. That's a lot of money. Oh, let's see what else we got here. Oh yeah, so anyways, when you order from these guys here, you tell them exactly what you want, and they have to agree in writing that they're going to send you exactly what you asked for. Otherwise, you're not going to pay the bill. Now, the thing is about these Chinese companies, they use AliExpress and Alibaba and whatnot. And those two outfits actually hold the vendor's money until the customer is satisfied that he got the product that he ordered. So, you know, if you have in writing that you're getting a certain type of battery, certain grade of battery, and they don't send it to you, then you just say, hey, man, you're not getting paid. And they can come pick the damn things up and send you what you asked for. Anyways, you got to be mean to these son of a bitches, because they're going to be mean to you. So, I mean, you just do back to them what they do to you. Anyways, getting on with the top off here. Here's a charger that I got off of eBay, a used charger, and it's pretty sophisticated. It's got all kinds of crap in it. Anyways, this is a 20 volt 30 amp charger, and when I got it in here, I couldn't figure out how to use the damn thing. I didn't even know if the darn thing worked. So it's been sitting on a shelf for about 3 or 4 months, not knowing whether or not it worked or not. And then when I got the lithiums in and hooked it up, I found out I could get it to work. So that's good. And because I wasn't sure if it was working or not, I ordered a backup here. And I got this cheap little one here, a $70 model here, 30 volt, 10 amp model. And let me tell you guys something about these chargers. And it's the same for this one and the same for this one. So I'm assuming this is all across the board. Every charger is like this. If you think you're going to get any power out of these chargers at 3.65 volts, you're dreaming, man. It ain't going to happen. At 3.65 volts, I was getting 2 amps coming out of this thing. I mean, I had the amps cranked up all the way, and that's all it put out. So what I ended up having to do is I had to crank it up to 4.2 volts. And at 4.2 volts, I could get 10 amps out of it. But the thing is the there's a question about putting too much voltage into lithium batteries, and I'm not an expert on this sort of thing. I read up on it a little bit and looked in the forums and asked some questions, read some posts and stuff like that. And as far as charging a battery at higher voltage than 3.65, I didn't really see too much information about that. But I did see a lot of stuff about putting too much voltage into a battery that's been fully charged. So what I did is I had to end up watching these batteries like a hawk. First of all, these batteries are charged very slowly. I mean, it'll take, at 10 amps, it'll take, more than a day for you to get a battery up to near fully charged. But then the thing is it hardly does anything for a whole day. And then all of a sudden, when you get up to about 3.55, 3.660 on the voltage, then it starts taking off and it starts charging like crazy. I mean, when you get to like 3.60, you're pretty close, probably, hours away from it being charged. So in that situation, I kept an eye on it like a hawk, watching the voltage as it was charging up. And when it got up to 3.60, I'd sit here and watch it. And when it got to 3.65, what I would do is I would crank the voltage down to 3.65 or 3.6, and I'd look at the current meter. And you can tell by the current meter how many amps is going in that battery, whether that battery is charged or not. If you bring it down to 3.6 and it reads 0, that means it's fully charged. Now, if you bring it down to 3.6 and it says like half an amp, you're almost there, but not quite. So you put it back on charge a little bit more and watch it like a hawk. But what you'll find is these batteries are kind of weird. When they get up to fully charged, it's almost like you hit a light switch or something like that. All of a sudden, they will not take any more. And if you're charging at like 4.2 volts, I mean, you'll see 1 second, you'll see like 3.66, 3.67, maybe 6.8, and all of a sudden the voltage will just jump up and the amps will drop down. So I mean, you got to watch out for that, because you don't want to have that thing sitting on overcharging for very long, if at all, because you could damage the battery. And I don't know enough about that to be an expert on that, give an expert opinion on that. So you have to look into that yourself. But hopefully, I didn't do any damage to these batteries. Well, let me look over here for a second, see what my charge is. Oh, I'm at 3.65 now. So I can just about shut this thing down. All right, but anyways, once this battery pack gets put together, I'm going to do something very interesting that you guys might want to check out, and this will be on my next video. These are the batteries for my backup system, and those are 600 amp AGMs. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie together the lithiums with the AGMs. Now, my thinking is that the charge and discharge curve on the lithium batteries is kind of interesting, because as the lithium battery comes near the end of its life, that is about the same voltage of what the AGM batteries are at full charge. So I'm guessing, and I don't know how this is going to work out, and it's going to be interesting to see it, but my thinking is that on a fully charged set of both batteries, most of the energy is probably going to come from the lithium batteries. And what I've got here is I've got two separate amp meters. There's one there, and there's one down there, and this one's hooked up to this battery bank, and that one there's going to be hooked up to the lithium bank. I'm going to watch and see where most of the energy comes out of to go into the inverter. And my guess is the lithiums are going to take on the majority of the work until they start getting depleted down to near almost being dead, and then the AGMs will start taking over the load. So that's going to be kind of interesting to see how that works out, how they work together with each other. Now, I did talk to one person on Will's forum, on his solar forum, that said he was doing that, and it's working out good for him. So And the other thing is too is the charging voltages for the lithium and the AGMs aren't that much different. You know, the lithium is about 29 volts or maybe a hair more, and the AGMs is 28.8. So their optimal charging voltage is not that far off. So I don't really see that there's going to be too much of a problem with that working out, but we'll see. And I'll go through that with y'all on my next video, and that's going to be kind of interesting to watch, I think. Anyways, that's all I got for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all soon.